Hi, everybody. Al Bernstein here with another one of our quick hits, part of our boxing hangout video series. And on this one, I'm going to talk about the fight that I will be announcing this Saturday, April 18th, at the StubHub Center, involving Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. and Andrzej Fonfara. This is a light heavyweight matchup, even though Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Is campaigning at the 168-pound division now. He flew all the way up to light heavyweight to take on Fonfara. Now, for Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., it's been a time of great change in his life. He's been off for literally a year, a long layoff for him. And during that time, he changed promoters, left Top Rank, went with Al Heyman and his company, and as his promoter and in effect and manager. And he also added Joe Goosen as his trainer to the mix, and that has been an interesting development as well, as he has tried to find the right person to not only motivate him. We all know that training diligently has been an issue for him, but also help him craft the right plan and make sure that he gets his full potential. And so far, apparently it's been a good marriage with Joe Goosen, but of course the true proof will come on fight night when he steps in the ring. The man he will step in the ring against, Fonfara, is a very, very good fighter. He is a true light heavyweight at 175 pounds. We last saw him against Adonis Stevenson. He was raked over the coals early in the fight, but as the fight wore on and Stevenson lost a little steam, Fonfara came on strong, was able to put Stevenson down in the later rounds, and it looked at that moment like he might upset Stevenson for the light heavyweight title. But instead, Stevenson was able to hang in there, win the decision against Fonfara. And for this young man from Poland, now fighting out of Chicago, it put him on the boxing map to some degree. So much so that many wonder if this is a prudent move by Chavez Jr. Number one, to fight at 175, where he has not fought before. And number two, to take on somebody like Fonfara, who's already proven in a fight that he's much more than just a journeyman in that division. I think it's going to be a really interesting matchup. And when you look at the tail of the tape of these men, you see one very striking difference, and that is the height and reach advantage that Fonfara has. And Chavez Jr., of course, is an attacker. So his mission always is to get inside the jab of a fighter he's facing. And when he does that, he is very, very effective. So the question is, will he be able to get inside that jab of Fonfara and then throw his punches to the body and the head? When we look at these two fighters face to face, you can see how much taller Fonfara is, and obviously the reach is not evident there, but it's a huge reach advantage as well. Now, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., there are myths about him and there are realities, okay? One of the myths is that somehow he's not a skilled fighter. You know, he has not endeared himself to everyone because of all the 24/7 shows that were done on HBO that showed him smoking pot, showed him not training, all the things that, you know, that made people feel he was a entitled kind of young man who grew up at the feet of a legend, Julio Cesar Chavez, and didn't have to scrap and claw his way through in life. But I'll tell you one of the realities about Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., and that is he's a very good fighter, especially offensively. There are very few fighters in boxing today who are capable of creating as much offense as Chavez Jr. or throw punches and combinations in a more creative way. He's a very good offensive fighter. He has worked on his defensive skills over the years and has improved those as well. Now, one of the big issues for him is the layoff, coming in here off a year layoff. And that's one of the issues that made people wonder about the choice of Fonfara as an opponent, given the fact that not only is he stepping into a weight class he's never fought in, he's also coming back after a one-year layoff. Now, the early part of this fight may be interesting. If Fonfara, using that reach, can drop in a good right hand, he's not a monstrous puncher, but he's got good power and he certainly at 175 will be the traditionally bigger man in this fight. If he can drop in something early, might be very interesting in terms of how Chavez reacts to it, especially given the long layoff. It'll be at the StubHub Center, which is, of course, one of the great locations for great fights. The man that will be there with me, the man that produces our boxing hangouts, Dan Parks, joins us. And Dan, you're going to be out there at the StubHub Center, and the atmosphere at that location is remarkable, isn't it?
It is one of the most epic places to see a fight ever, and this is going to be a much more challenging fight, I think, than a lot of people are expecting. And boy, the fireworks are going to go off on this, I think.
I think so too. I agree with you. I think it's going to be a great night of boxing, and as we said, it'll be at a location where people are used to seeing great boxing matches. Now, speaking of great boxing matches, and we hope it's going to be one, it's going to be a great event. We know that. Manny Pacquiao battling Floyd Mayweather, and let's take a look. And there's a nice poster that Dan has in his hand. Now, why are we showing you this poster? Because we are going to be giving away a couple of those, as well as some other prizes. There's the coaster. That's a Pacquiao Mayweather coaster, correct, Dan?
Yes, that's a brand new poster coaster set. The coasters to go with the posters.
Exactly. We're nothing if not onomatopoetic.
You sound like Don King. That's great.
or something. Anyway, so we're going to be giving those away, and the way we're going to give them away is starting on Monday, on the 20th. We're going to begin our quick hit videos that we're calling Countdown to Mayweather Pacquiao. And then we're going to do several of each week of the last 2 weeks leading up to the fight. And on those, we're going to allow you to, we're probably going to have a trivia question or some way in which you can answer it, and then under the comment section. And of course, we know many of you may get it right, but we're going to pick, if there's more than one winner, we'll pick the name out of a hat, and we'll make sure you get these prizes. So this is going to be fun, huh, Dan?
Absolutely. It's just another way to kind of engage our fans a little bit closer into the fight. It's coming up. And, you know, you just finished doing one of the quick hits for the 30th anniversary of Hagler and Hearns. And, you know, I was going to ask you one other question before Mayweather-Pacquiao. The energy and the excitement in the buildup for Hagler and Hearns, was that similar to what you're seeing right now with Mayweather-Pacquiao?
It's an interesting question, and I've been asked to compare in general the two promotions a lot in the last couple of weeks as that anniversary has come closer. And the interesting thing was Hagler and Hearns had a series of press conferences leading up to the fight. They did a press tour, and in that press tour, a couple of things happened. Number one, they did build up great interest in the fight. They also got under each other's skin in a big way. Okay, which kind of led to part out. Since then, they've become, great, respectful adversaries, and they've gotten along very well in recent years. But at the time, they were none too happy with each other, and which leads me to the current fight with Mayweather-Pacquiao, where we only had the one press conference. It was a very sedate, affair in which everybody's well behaved. You have to wonder, what if they had gone through a series of press conferences? How would that have changed their demeanor headed into this fight? The one thing is the thing that is similar is that both these fights, of course, are mega fights. And I'm often asked to compare the Manny Pacquiao Mayweather fight, which of course I'll be announcing, to those fights I did in the 80s with Hagler Hearns, and I did a number of Hagler fights, Hagler Duran. I did the third Leonard Duran fight. I did a number of other Tommy Hearns fights. I did all told 9 fights involving one of the 4 kings, either against each other or against other people. And the thing that I've said is the excitement and anticipation leading up to these fights reminds me very much of those fights. A couple of big differences. Now, of course, boxing is more of a niche sport than it was during the Hagler-Hearns days in the 80s. However, Pacquiao and Mayweather are mainstream sports stars. Unlike other boxers, they are covered by the mainstream sports media, and certainly they are when they're fighting other people and against each other. As in this case, it's created a firestorm of media coverage. and also attention on something else that didn't exist back in the Hagler-Hearns days, and that's the internet. And that has given, I think, the Pacquiao-Mayweather fight a leg up, because the social media world has gone nuts for this fight. And Dan, you're a social media expert. I'd ask you about that. How will this fight be impacted by social media? And is it a good example of how we now can gauge big events based on the social media activity it gets?
Sure, absolutely. You know, right now, if you go and look on the Twitter stream and you look under Maypac, which is the main hashtag that's being used, that stream is running like this. Unbelievable. Everybody's got a comment. Everybody's got an opinion. There's a new story every single day. And the fact that we as boxing fans now are able to spread that information out and engage other people, I think the numbers are going to be ridiculous for this.
Can you imagine what it's going to be like on fight night on those social media sites?
Wow. It's going to be crazy.
Shut down the internet. Is that possible? Yeah, it's going to be very exciting. And we're going to be bringing you our quick hit videos starting on Monday, April 20th. We'll have several each week of the 2 weeks leading up to the fight, right up till the final day of the match. And I'm going to be hitting on all aspects of the fight in these videos and giving you some updates on news as it occurs also. So you want to stay with us and come back to our hangout location where you can see these quick hit videos. And a reminder, you're going to win prizes here too. You're going to win the coasters and the posters. And by the way, I am going to sign the posters that you win from the fight. And a reminder that this weekend I will be at the StubHub Center for the Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Andrzej Fonfara fight. So that will be shown on Showtime, and I'll of course be announcing that with my normal announce crew there. And if you see me at the fights, come on up, say hi. I'll chat with you. So that's going to be our fight on Saturday. Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. against Andrzej Fonfara. We'll see you then.